Good morning and welcome to the Table Scraps podcast.
On today's episode, Bobby, Katie, and I are talking about what kind of videos we consume on social media, Netflix, and just movies in general.
I like to watch dog videos.
We gotta redo that one.
So I have to ask, Brad, when you gave me the homework to bring 3 topics for the podcast, did you ever plan on having 3 topics?
Myself?
Yes.
No. I planned on coming down here and having 6 topics ready between the two of you.
Gotcha.
The
Okay.
number 3 was never presented to me.
It's possible
at any
that
point.
I didn't say that.
He probably didn't tell you 3. He did tell me 3, which was...
I believe that. I believe that.
And he even reminded me this morning to come up with 3. So
I thought about it when I woke up this morning, but there was no number tied to it. And honestly, I came up dry. So
okay, well, that makes sense to me now why I was thinking we were going to come into this with 9 topics, and we only had 3.
no, we like to start with a small pot,
Yeah.
and then just really dive deep into.
And I was
one.
really anticipating that my ideas weren't going to be the ideas being used because I thought you guys were going to come up with really good ideas. So this is just a surprise to me that my ideas, are the only ideas. So now we're using them.
What were your ideas?
Discipline versus excuses. And I had that one in mind of you because I feel like you're so strict on not following excuses. And then for me, I definitely make excuses and I'm just kind of like, it's okay. And then I feel like Bob is kind of like a combination of those two.
I've been pretty good at skating that line for most of my life.
Yeah. So that's where that idea came from. And then my other idea was what I think we're going to run with, which is how the media we consume impacts us personally, impacts how we make videos. And if that's like a good thing, bad thing, what our thoughts are on that. And then my other idea was...
Oh, you had 4.
Wait, no, was it 3?
I don't know. I lost count. At 2, apparently. Go ahead. Say
my
what.
third idea was, is college useful or useless? But then Bobby told me you guys kind of already talked about that. So
Yeah, that was a long time
Matt,
ago.
didn't we?
I think
bit.
I think it's come up a few times, just in general.
Well, we can't say it's useless to Matt because he got a film degree.
Yeah.
well, it's not useless to everyone. I just us 3 at this table,
Yeah.
It might have been useless.
I
for.
don't think.
That'd be a good topic, though.
But maybe not fully useless. Because
No.
I don't think it was fully useless.
All right, so you came up with good topics. Good job.
Thank you.
And which one are we rolling with?
Good thing that I was brought onto the pod, or else you guys would have nothing to talk about today.
It's true. It is true. Mm-hmm. So which one are we picking?
Well, I think the one that Bobby liked the best was the impacts of what we consume.
Okay.
Yeah, I figured
Media.
we could talk about what we've been watching lately, how we think that would influence how we're creating, like what some of the stuff is that we're making, and maybe editing choices, music choices, stuff like that, editing preferences, and then even maybe a little bit of like expanding, like you said, on how it's affecting us in general, like what we consume on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I think all 3 of us consume pretty different things. I know that you guys watch a lot of YouTube together, but also during the day, you're doing your own thing. And I know I'm on a completely different spectrum with what I'm watching. So I think it would be interesting to talk about it because I honestly want to know for my own good, how is it impacting me? I don't really know. But I'm sure after a conversation, it'd probably become a little bit more obvious.
Cool. I like the topic.
Yeah, I already started self-reflecting a little bit, and I'm realizing that this probably should have been a question I asked myself a while ago. So,
are we going to get into some things?
I don't know, maybe.
Well, why don't we start light? Why don't we start with what everybody has been watching lately?
Well, that could be light to some or deep
That is
down.
not-
Okay, sorry. Let's start with an easy to answer
could just
question.
start.
Yeah, Brad, go ahead and start.
What have you been watching lately?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've been watching a lot of filmmakers make short form content on like YouTube Shorts or Instagram or Facebook. And I'm specifically looking for that stuff because I'm trying to draw inspiration for this little project that I'm doing where I'm posting a minute reel every day. So I've been watching that and kind of like picking up on ideas, and it's a very intentional watch. Like I'm not just scrolling on it to just entertain myself. Like I have my laptop up and I'm saving URLs and I'm looking for hooks and I'm like searching for multi-million view videos and trying to understand why they got that many views. So
did you say it's a minute each?
Yeah, 1 minute. Because 1 minute is the only length that fits on all short form platforms. YouTube Shorts caps you at a minute, where Instagram and TikTok, you can go, I think 5 minutes maybe even longer.
Are you consuming on all platforms? So Facebook, YouTube, TikTok?
TikTok's the only one I don't.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I started posting on TikTok with this thing that I'm doing where I'm posting once a day.
You're on TikTok now.
Yeah.
You're on TikTok, right?
See, that's what my mass majority of consumption comes from TikTok.
Really?
I don't watch any YouTube shorts. I don't watch any reels on Facebook, sometimes on Instagram.
Yeah.
Damn. I'm not on TikTok either.
I wonder if it's because I'm younger than you guys.
Ooh.
It could be. Madison has been on TikTok. She got rid of it because it was too time consuming.
Yeah.
I've definitely seen a
suck
few
you in.
people your age fall down that rabbit hole, and then obviously younger too.
Yeah.
But I'm afraid of TikTok, so I'm just staying off. I already waste enough time on Instagram as it is. I hear they have like a really good algorithm over there that's going to keep you invested for a long time.
They really get you. It's like the rabbit hole of information.
What's that algorithm been feeding you, Bob?
Let's see. A lot of podcast stuff, mostly comedians. A lot of skateboarding videos.
Really?
Yeah, I find on Facebook specifically, and drumming. So drumming is something that I watch, obviously, because I do it and I want to learn, but mostly because I'm fascinated by it. Skateboarding is not something that I intend on doing. I
feel like you used to have a skateboard.
I do. Yeah, I wanted.
Come on, I've seen you do a kickflip in the driveway.
There is, yeah, okay. I've kicked the board in a direction and it flipped around for sure. No, I mean, I had the dream of skateboarding in middle school, like many kids did, but I didn't have the heart for it. I couldn't bring myself to put myself in that much danger, so never really panned out. But I still am fascinated by it. I watch videos of it all the time. I really enjoy the culture. Some of the culture anyway. So yeah, Facebook's been feeding me a lot of that. Nothing really super productive, just things they know that I could watch brainlessly and enjoy and then watch the next one.
Okay.
A lot of music stuff too, and not just drums, live performances and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Instagram is a little bit different. Instagram is a lot of like memes. Like it's just funny videos in any sense.
And they come up with some.
Oh my God! Have you
ones.
seen like the AI generated videos?
Oh yeah,
Dude,
they're all over the
so
place.
messed up. And
I don't see any of this
funny.
stuff.
I have no idea what these prompts are that people are writing, but they are coming up with some crazy shit. And then
It's AI generated video?
Yeah.
Oh God.
It is.
So does it look real?
It looks real enough to like grab you at first, but then it's really messed up looking. And I haven't done enough research to understand how much of it just always says like AI generated. Mm-hmm. Is there a chance that somebody's manipulating that after the fact, or maybe even making the whole thing, just calling it AI generated? Maybe, but they are specifically messed up looking. Like the faces can never be fully generated, or the face will turn and then all of a sudden the face is over here. It's like, I don't think they mean to make it so creepy.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's what we're watching.
So your guys' stuff is kind of similar, I guess. But like, what else is on yours, Katie?
Yeah, I'd say mine is probably just very different from what you guys consuming.
Well, you got some of the
sense.
AI stuff.
Yeah,
right?
some of the AI stuff,
The
and then
stupid
also
stuff,
just
whatever.
being like a
Yeah.
girl and just what I consume versus what you guys consume.
Okay, but like, what's the bulk?
I consume mostly entertainment for sure. Well, entertainment, but educational. I don't know. There's a lot of information about trying to get pregnant, IVF, obviously. A lot of Taylor Swift, a lot of cute dogs, a lot of like running motivation, which I really like consuming, just like motivation about exercising in general.
That's a pretty healthy like bulk of options you got there.
Yeah.
Little bit of variety.
It keeps my attention, that's for certain.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I definitely have been consuming less. that's actually been one of my goals the past couple of weeks, is to consume less social media and information regarding those topics.
It's tough, man. It's real tough.
Yeah, it's just like the more you consume it, the more you're just thinking about it like all the time. So I think that there's got to be a healthy balance.
And if you're an anxious person, it's just like a short escape. It'd be like going outside and smoking a cigarette or something. Like it's just something you can focus your brain on. Even if it's mindless, it's just kind of like reducing that noise that's going on.
For sure. It's an instant gratification. And then as soon as it's done, it's like, okay, back to reality. Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you feel after like sitting there for 30 minutes and just scrolling?
Depends on the day, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if I ever sit there and scroll for 30 minutes.
Well, whatever it is.
Yeah, like, for a period of time.
I mean, same thing to you, Bob. Like, what are you feeling after you're consuming this stuff that you guys are saying that you like to watch and, it's appealing to your life?
I mean, I feel that it was a ginormous waste of time every single time. Oh, yeah. Yeah. If I am like truly sucked in and I do sit there for 30 minutes or sometimes I'll sit there for an hour, it's too easy to use that as a distraction from like the things that I should be getting done. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the times when I get up from a binge like that, I'm like, I got to like shake it off. Like I'd feel almost like depressed from it. Like I'm just like, oh my God, I just wasted so much time. And while I was doing it, yeah, I was getting that instant gratification, but I think it's getting less and less. It's almost like a drug. Like you kind of become resistant to it. And then I'm like, I'm not getting as much out of this as I did before.
Do you think it's because it's so fast and it's just like on to the next thing? Because I got to imagine if you're watching like a live set and you're taking something away from that you like, you might be like, okay, I'm going to try something like that next time I'm playing live. But because it's like, okay, on to the next one, you don't even remember what that thing was.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Too much getting pumped into you in a period of time. It's shortened so that it keeps your attention. So there's moments like, say, for live music, I'll sit down and I'll watch like specifically performances on like I'll put on my TV and I'll turn my surround sound on and my stereo and get into it. And that I really enjoy, and I never walk away from that feeling like I wasted time. It's just that when it's like in between 6 meme videos and then I get one drum video and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's kind of cool. On to the next thing. To your point, yeah, maybe I don't remember it, or it's just too much at one time that I didn't take anything specific away from it. It was just another video that I watched.
Yeah, I think I agree. It's almost like I feel fatigued afterwards. Like, wow, that was a lot for me to think about in that short period of time.
I think to your point, it depends on the day too, because if it's a day where I'm super productive and then I spend a half hour on my phone or 10 minutes or 15 minutes, then I don't feel so bad. Then I'm like, okay, well, I've done what I really feel that I needed to do. If it's a day where I need to get a lot done and I haven't done anything yet, and the thought of how much I have to do is becoming overwhelming, and then that leads me to sit on my phone to kind of like distract myself from that, that's when it doesn't feel so great afterward.
I also think, like, for me, I'm consuming a lot of material where I'm trying to learn about a specific topic, and then I feel like maybe I've learned too much about that topic and I need to step away. Do you ever feel that way? Yeah, IVF, or like just anything I get fixated on. Like if there's a certain topic I'm wondering more about, like usually around the self-help genre. But I don't know. I feel like I consume so much. I eventually am just like, oh, okay, I feel like I can't learn any more about this.
Maybe, I mean, the thing that you're learning about, there is no definitive answer to it.
Yeah,
so it's like if you wanted to learn the history of World War II, like at some point you're gonna be like, okay, I know the history of World War II, but they're still developing IVF, and those topics are just an open book. You can form your own opinions because they're new.
Anything from the self-help perspective, it's all kind of personally based.
Yeah. But then you think about filmmaking, and that's the same. You can't learn it all. Like you're just getting more input from more things.
You need to have a specific thing in mind that you want to learn to help you create your vision.
Right. How did they do that shot?
Yeah. How like the sound thing? Like last night, I spent a decent amount of time on sound. I'm like, how do I make a video be the right volume for YouTube? And then that is a specific thing that I needed information on, and I got it, and now I know. And if you don't have that like thing that you're looking for, you could spend hours just watching stuff and maybe learn nothing, because it just kind of depends on the person.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, you're not really gonna learn by scrolling. If you're trying to learn something specific, you're going to search it.
Yeah. I also think that I'm basing a lot of my information off of other people's experiences, which is just like a dicey road to go down, because you can't compare your life to someone else's life. And I think that's a problem with a lot of social media platforms in general with people, is that, you know, if someone is
It
I
depends.
don't know. Yeah, you're right.
I mean,
it
because
does
like
depend.
if that's negatively affecting you, it's the opposite for me. Because when I see all of these filmmakers out there putting out daily content or just like good content in general, it makes me be like, okay, I need to do that, and then I just go do it. So it motivates me when I see that stuff. But I'm probably not consuming it as much as you guys.
Why do you think it motivates you?
Because I'm like, well, if they're doing it, why aren't I doing
Yeah.
it? Like,
If
I
you
have
wanna-
every ability to do exactly what they're doing. Our projects are equal or better than what they're doing. Like, let's go.
And if you want to be successful in that same career path, then it makes sense to take notes. I think what Katie's talking about is when you're comparing, like it would be like if you look at those people and you want what they have. Like if you're like, oh, I want that guy's life. I want his projects. I want his editing bay. I want all his gear. Like if it just somebody's portraying that they have more than you, and then you look at that, or they're happier than you, or something like that, and you're kind of comparing your life to theirs, that's where it can get kind of toxic.
Yeah, there's not really like a comparison drawn or a desire to be that person. I'm just like, they're succeeding by doing this thing that I know works and I can do it. So I'm going to go do it. So maybe I need to consume some more of that running motivation content because I suck at that.
Yeah, I can send you some.
So outside of social media, because that's obviously one realm, like one way to intake content, videos, music, whatever, and we're all doing it all the time. What have you guys been watching outside of that? Have you been watching any good documentaries, any good YouTube videos, and maybe like a specific example of something that you're starting to draw some inspiration from?
Well, I would say every time we go to Netflix, I go straight to categories and click documentaries.
And every time I'm just like,
Here we go. What are we learning about today?
I just want to watch a Disney movie. I just want to watch Pixar, damn it.
that does not happen.
Inside Out 2 is on Disney Plus,
Really?
September 25th.
Good to know.
It's good.
No
I
idea
watched
what
it.
that is.
Did you see the first one?
I'll be watching that when Brad goes to hockey.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah, so it's always documentaries, and Netflix docs are great. I like some docs on YouTube, but Netflix, the production value is pretty consistent. Like they've got their standards set, so you know what you're going to get when you turn those on.
We just watched a great documentary.
Which
that
one?
I actually really enjoyed. I actually really enjoy watching documentaries. I do.
Yeah, you just give me some crap right when I click on it.
right from the get-go. I'm just like, oh, do I really want to learn? But it is entertainment and learning
Getting
all
over
at the same time.
the hump of like, you can't just sit there and watch something stupid. You have to
like I have
think.
to think, yes, which is probably a good thing, but that's all right. It was Hope Solo, the soccer player.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a really good documentary. I enjoyed that.
I really liked that. It was really well made, but it was an interesting one because it was from the outliers' perspective. They had done a bunch of docs on the USA women's soccer team, but it was all from like the group's perspective. So like the owner and the coach and the majority of the players. Hope Solo was like on her own and everybody like kind of exiled her, but the whole story was through her perspective. So there was no interviews from the team or the coach or anybody else other than like
There was
her
a
high
couple
school
people,
coach
yeah.
or something.
Wait, this one that you just watched?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why did they exile her? Not to get into too much
you would
detail.
have to watch.
But okay, just if you could in like 2 sentences.
You want to take a stab at it?
She got fired from the team.
Yeah. Yeah, she got kicked off the team because they didn't like her.
After watching the documentary from her perspective, do you think she was treated unfairly?
Yeah, but
Kind of.
I mean,
Oh, it was-
you're going to feel that way after you watch something from that person's
know.
perspective.
These are-
it didn't like affect my outlook at USA Soccer,
Yeah.
but it opens you up to like just hearing the exiled person speak. So I thought that was really cool, and my takeaway from that was like, okay, how could we apply that to something that we're doing? Like, there's always a big group and there's always somebody that doesn't agree with that group. What would it be like to share that person's
Yeah, like
feelings and
almost
thoughts?
establishing more credibility for yourself by giving the other side a chance to speak.
Yeah.
So Madison's been really heavily into true crime documentaries right now, which really bums me out every now and like if I'm like trying to go to bed, I don't want to watch.
Depressing or what?
Well,
Are they cheesy?
No, they're not cheesy. It's about terrible things. So it'd be like watching the local news every night and just ingesting the worst in society. And then the other thing I don't like about them, depending on which one they are, they leave it open-ended.
Ooh, yeah.
And certain things are fine for that. Like if I watch Inception and the top is spinning at the end and I don't know if it tipped over, cool. Like I can that I'm okay with. But when there's somebody that might have murdered his wife and now it's up to me to decide if he did it, I don't want that pressure. Like I'm not a detective. But she's been watching what is it? Scott and what's his wife's name? I can't remember. I'll look it up. But he went to jail. He's in prison right now for murdering his wife. And she's watching a documentary from the perspective of the prosecution. So that he did it. But apparently there's another one out that says that he didn't do it. So now she's going to watch that one next. But even in this one, they interviewed his sister, and they interviewed a couple of, I think, lawyers maybe, and it was a different perspective. It was people that thought that he didn't do it, or at the very least were on the other side of all the attention. Like she didn't want her brother to be guilty. Mm-hmm. Of course not. Yeah. And then it's traumatic from her perspective. So
I don't think you're really going to learn anything from watching those. Like as far as what actually happened.
There's always a bias.
Yeah.
But at least them throwing her in that and like making you consider the fact that there was people surrounding this courthouse just cheering like, yeah, he did it. Like he's convicted. And you have this person's family whose life is now destroyed. And like, you're not even thinking twice about that. Just having her in there and giving a different perspective of it like I said, it gave credibility to the documentary. So to your point, if there's a way that we can kind of mix that into what we're doing, I think we should. Multiple perspectives, leaving it up as much as I don't like that in a true crime. I don't like to be left to decide. Some people can be.
Yeah, I can't really think of anything that we have in the works that would be not like a concrete ending. Like who wins the national championship? Like who wins the race type stuff.
Maybe not maybe not specifically an ending to a story, but rather like your opinion of a person.
Ooh, yeah.
Like, is this person likable?
Well, we're gonna have some stuff for Super Cat.
Exactly. So if we could think about that,
yeah,
we can leave it up to the viewer to decide. Like,
God, I'm loving editing that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just so much fun. We have so much material. I'm not going to go into Super Cat right
now.
But
well, why don't we keep talking about what we're talking about, but in terms of that. So you're watching a lot of documentaries, you're watching a lot of YouTube, you're watching a lot of people, you're watching a lot of creators on their own personal platforms showing you behind the scenes stuff. So how is that kind of influencing the way that you've been editing videos?
So specifically for Super Cat, I'm taking inspiration from the Netflix world of docuseries following sports. Watched the golf one, the tennis one, Drive to Survive, the NASCAR, what was that, Full Speed. Pretty much any of those that are on Netflix, I'm watching those and kind of getting an idea for what kind of fonts they're using, what kind of sound effects, the pacing of the videos. Not to say that we're copying any of that, but I want it to align with the look of those. They all look the same on Netflix. Mm-hmm. Like the tennis and the golf, same kind of like plot, same pacing throughout the chapters. So the idea is to mimic that, but in our own sport. So I'm trying to draw inspiration directly from those things. I'm sure some of the other stuff that I watch has a little bit of influence on it, but primarily it's from those things.
Okay. Yeah, like looking at watching something about a sport that you might not even care about, but you're finding yourself invested because of the way that it's made.
And even from that side, it's better if I don't care about it because more people don't care about boat racing than they do. Mm-hmm. And if you can get me interested in watching a NASCAR video, then I need to figure out what they did so I can get the person that doesn't like boating into the Super Cat series.
Right. Yeah, it's the same perspective of like I don't care. Why should I care? Or maybe even before they're even able to ask the question, why should I care, they care. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, they're invested in the people or the sport or whatever it is.
I know I'm putting out a lot of stuff that you don't really care for, Katie. Is there anything like in these documentaries or whatnot that you're pulling out like, oh, that actually does interest me, even though it might be a sport that you don't like?
It could even, not even just the content, but how they make it too. Like, is there anything
that's
that
what
you're
I was
pulling?
kind of just thinking about. It's interesting how I'd say more now than I used to when I was watching these documentaries with you. Like, I'm just watching them for an entertainment purpose. I'm not thinking about the font,
That's okay.
transitions, or anything. I do now, and I think that has allowed me to enjoy them more, actually. But I do really like sports. Like, anything with that really gets my interest. So, and I like a good story, and I really appreciate the amount of effort it goes in to make those documentaries, watching and also doing it ourselves. So I think that just has given me a new perception on it.
New respect for it.
Yeah, new respect for it. So I don't know. Like, I don't think it's that I don't enjoy doing it. I think just sometimes it's just like, okay, I know we're going to watch this and it's not going to be mindless. It's like, we're going to watch this and we're going to learn from it. And we're going to take something away from it. And which I think is really good. Do you think that you ever watch anything where you don't take something away from it?
Yeah, there's a couple times that I do.
I can't even believe that he just said that.
I know. I'm like, no,
literally
not
was
anymore.
like, I'm going to ask this question.
No,
and he's going to be like, no.
There's one thing I can think of, and it's when I sit down on the couch and I watch YouTube shorts for like, I don't know, it doesn't usually last too long.
When do you do that?
Like, rarely. But the videos that come up that I end up watching in those moments are like Steven Shapiro trying to pick up chicks like at college campuses, or like people running from the police. Like, those are the two things. I don't know, whatever it is.
What an
That's
interesting
what I'm
algorithm.
watching when it's like totally mindless. Those are the things.
Who's Steven Shapiro? When you said Steven Shapiro, I was thinking of Ben Shapiro, like that political
No,
guy.
this is like a 25-year-old
Is it just like funny pickup lines?
Yeah.
Yeah,
he
he's
is funny.
hilarious. He's so good at it.
I think I've probably seen his videos.
Brad does really like him. I
Yeah.
actually am surprised that Brad likes him.
I mean, it's just that if there's a vice, there
Hey.
you go. That's
You heard ours. I'm watching weird AI shit all the time.
Brad
so,
has
like,
not used a single one of the pickup lines on me.
Come on, dude.
Like, if you're gonna watch me,
that's a
use
good
them.
point. Maybe I should start studying Steven.
No, you see, you're gonna take his one thing away from him that he does for enjoyment. He's gonna be,
I'm gonna be like
with his
taking
journal.
notes on it.
Yeah, he's gonna start shooting his
What
own
I can
videos.
say to Katie tomorrow.
That would actually be pretty funny. You should shoot just a video around the house. And you
Yeah.
can just use his pickup lines on Katie in random moments.
Like, play the video behind me, film myself doing it, and
Yeah.
then, like,
yeah,
and then going and doing it.
I'm surprised that you even have those outlets. This is a topic that's come up on here a few times. Just like the way that you watch things changes, and I think that it happens without you even knowing it. Or at least that's how it happened for me. From the time that we started this to now, I can't watch anything without just learning, pulling things out of
Yeah.
it. Whether or not I remember what I learned is a whole different story. But in the moment, I probably should start writing stuff down. But in the moment, all I'm doing is absorbing what I'm seeing and like, oh, how'd they do that? Or oh, I wonder if we could do that. Or like, I've become obsessed with sound lately because that's all I'm watching something and I'm just listening to it and wondering how it's so undisrupted by all of these changes that are happening and how they're so like cohesive from like chapter to chapter.
A simple practice that might make you feel better about yourself after sitting there for 30 minutes would be to send the ones that you want to remember to yourself, or save them, or put them somewhere where you can come back on them and be like, oh, I remember that thing that I wanted to make, or I was inspired by, and then you can come back. You don't have to sit there with a laptop and like write it all
That's what
out.
I was about to say. Actually, you're going to need to airdrop them to your computer so you can put the link in Notion so you can click on it later.
Okay, that's like the extreme. But I'm just
Who
saying.
does that?
Yeah, that's what I do. But I'm not saying that's what you should do. I'm just saying if you want to get a little bit something out of it so you don't feel like complete crap when you're done, send a couple of them to yourself.
Yeah.
You know there's something in there that you could like watch again and be like, oh, I remember that.
I think a lot of it is even like with movies and stuff, though, that I'm watching, like not necessarily always content on Instagram or anything like that. And I think maybe that's why I'm so picky about stuff, is that most of what I'm paying attention to when I consume it is like cinema, like movies, or it's Netflix stuff, like things that aren't necessarily produced on YouTube by a group of 3 people or a group of, or one person. Like maybe the bandwidth. I mean, you have these things that have hundreds of people working on them, and I listen to that, and it makes me want that, but then I don't even understand how much work actually goes into making something like that so good. And is it possible? Like, we have X bandwidth with all the work that we have.
You know what I'd recommend? Find the people that made it and go find their personal stuff. Maybe there's somebody out there that's like, yeah, this is what I do for my living, but when I go home, like, I can get 90% of the way there only doing X, Y, and Z. You know, and then that's the one that you go mimic. You're not going to make cinema, Hollywood, audio here, you know, but you could get pretty close, I would think.
You know what Foley is?
No.
It's the everyday sounds that they make in studio. Like,
oh yeah, I've seen videos of people making it. Yeah.
Like, that's just them recording everything separately and then just putting that on top of it. I just learned that term yesterday.
Okay.
And
I like how you asked us, like,
yeah,
as if we were gonna know.
Well, I didn't know.
Friday lesson plan.
Yeah,
Bobby's teaching us Foley.
That's what Foley is.
How do you spell that?
Foley. So
like
some people.
Pat Foley.
Who's that?
He used to announce for the Blackhawks.
Oh,
It makes me think of.
That's way
Foley.
too deep of a cut for me.
I love hockey.
But yeah, people will create a specific audio line in their Premiere project and name it Foley, and that's where you keep your sound effects.
Are you gonna start making Foley?
No.
Come on, I can see you in here like cooking up some audio.
I won't make Foley, but if I hear good Foley, I'll probably save it.
All right.
If I hear good footsteps or doors closing or something like
Well,
that.
if you need any loud footsteps.
Yeah, I could
give it
just hold
3
a
months.
microphone up to the ceiling while you walk through the house.
We're gonna be midwinter, and you're gonna be in here making Foley.
Yeah, I'm gonna have all
Got
those
nothing
weird like
else to
wooden
do.
instruments and stuff in here making noises.
You're like, shut the furnace off.
Yeah,
I can slightly hear
I need
it.
perfect audio. Yeah, it's just like 30 degrees down here, and I'm like, I almost got it. But yeah, I was picking up stuff like that. Like, we should update our templates like we were talking about, put some more audio and video lines in there, but then maybe name the audio lines. And so it's not just audio one, it's Foley or it's music or it's dialogue or whatever.
So this is stuff that's coming from you consuming content about audio that's now creating ideas that we're actually going to implement.
Yeah.
Cool.
And
that's sweet.
But that's educated searching. That's me having a specific question and going on YouTube, finding the answer to that question, but then also seeing how these people that are instructing people on things do their stuff. So like, that's just me looking at their project files when they're in them, and I'm like, oh, that's a good idea.
Well, it sounds like if you just hang out with me some more, it'll all become like that.
Yeah, right. And then we'll just be a well-oiled
Katie?
machine.
Well, I'd say Bobby and I certainly get our fair share of spending time with you.
Yeah,
All right, don't look too happy about it.
No, I'm thrilled.
It's it is what it is.
Yeah. If you're still listening to this, do you like this length? Do you want us to keep rambling? Do you want these to be quicker?
What do you
Let
want
us
us
know.
to talk about?
Yeah, any topics coming from the public, we're always open for them.
We're still looking for our first comment.
Yeah, someone.
If anybody, no, I'm pretty sure Tyler commented, but he just said, congrats on the full-time hosting position to you on YouTube.
Well, we did
Nice.
get comments when we were getting votes for me to be on the pod.
Oh, we got to give people something to talk about.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Maybe we should like come with the next 2 potential
All right.
topics and then have people vote on which one we should do.
Okay, that's a good idea. Or I was going to say, people, I need you to comment topics so I can stay on the pod.
Ooh, we might kick Katie off the pod if you don't.
If you don't comment, her life is in your hands.
So please comment a topic you would like to hear about.
I really enjoyed this,
Good.
honestly. Just
glad.
speaking from real experience in the
Yeah.
heart. Always a good time.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next week.
Bye.
Thanks.